Hello, everyone. My name is Maximus, and I'm here with Virtual Spectre and Moves Like Jagger from the GG and crew, and we are Tome of Knowledge, or we're giving you tomes of knowledge. This is our podcast. Happy podcast, everybody. I don't know what
That's
that
right.
means. Like,
We're celebrating the day of being live on the internet.
yeah, remember that one time that we talked like not even 5 minutes ago about you doing the intro this time, and I just did it.
Hey, it works.
I was like, yeah, we'll switch it up. You do it, and then I just hit the button. You're just like autopilot just went to the intro. Hope everyone's having a Monday. That could be good or bad, I guess. It depends. I'm very sleepy.
Start doing it like an interview show or something. It's good to be here, Max.
Yeah,
Ready to go.
real good to be here.
It's glad to be back.
Well, you could bring it up another notch, and you could like walk in and like unbutton your suit jacket before you sit down, like wave at everybody in chat.
Give thumbs up.
Just wave to the camera at random people.
Then you ask for a close up and you zoom in and you're like, you know what I heard today? Monks.
Yeah.
They're different.
You want to know something, brother? Probably not the best impression to be doing, but you know what? I think it sounds funny.
For 1 hour.
We talking about the monks and we're gonna get you.
You know?
And the cream rises to the top. Anyway,
man,
I watched
greatest.
wrestling when I was in middle school.
Who didn't, man?
And he's a dragon in
Good.
Skyrim, so I mean, come on.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. Epic
like-
mod for that.
That's mod. Yeah.
It's like one of the first ones ever, dude.
Yeah, Macho Man and Thomas the Train.
Thomas the Train, yeah.
Can't ask for anything better.
Left 4 Dead had a Macho Man mod too for the tank enemies in Left 4 Dead. Who
Oh,
come
did they?
rushing in like, oh yeah.
I know there was like the Shrek one. There was like Shrek mod. That was
It's
good.
amazing. I love mods.
Right.
I feel like I spend more time modding games than playing them sometimes.
Hey.
Speaking of
Modding
mods,
is just another word for homebrew and D&D, baby.
yeah,
There you
I was
go.
gonna say, speaking of mods, how did Wizards modify the monk this time
Boom.
around?
Got him.
Wow, what a segue. Holy moly.
Yeah.
Glad to be here. No.
Good to be here, Max. Good to be here.
I'm ready to go. I'm feeling the energy.
But yeah, you guessed right. We're talking about monks today. The class that I believe one of the top 2 classes that needed a little look-see. I would say between monk and rangers, they both kind of needed a little look-see. I would argue to say monk more so,
I
but
think they were, according to D&D Beyond data, they were the least played class of all of Dungeons and Dragons, at least for 2014.
I mean that makes sense because I mean in a campaign I played a monk and talked to my DM and I was like, I want to change this. I don't like it.
I did the same exact thing, brother. All right.
Like, I don't like this. Anyway,
BS stuck it out for 2.5 years.
I mean, but
Yeah.
it's not. I mean, if it's not your class, it's not your class. But if it is your class,
They're still
there it
fun.
is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Probably helped that for a good portion of it. I was just like rolling with it and didn't know that they had issues.
Well, it was it was your very first D&D ever.
Just happy to be playing.
Glad to be here.
Happy to be here.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, just saying, I was playing an Astral Monk, which is the worst. I don't think Astral Monk was the worst mechanically,
4 elements.
balance wise.
Sucked. I hated it. I hated my life.
I think that the monk subclass, that's the dragon one, does 4 elements better than the 4 elements did, but that's my opinion. Anyway, on to the monk which I will say, we were talking a little bit about this beforehand. That's a good piece of art.
That is majestic monk dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jo-
It-
Joshua
Might be
Raphael,
my
you're
favorite piece of
brilliant.
art we've seen so far of the classes.
yeah.
I'm gonna have to concur.
It's
I
just
just
it's a whole vibe.
the
I mean,
level of detail, the scaling. I mean, just the glowing eyes, man.
in mountains with the moonlight.
We were debating
It's got a
which
Padawan braid.
we were debating which dragon or dragonborn, excuse me, this was. So let us know what you think. I think the lighting is a little ambiguous for what it could be, but I will say I'd never thought about giving my dragonborn hair until this, and it looks awesome.
It looks incredible. I also never thought of giving Dragonborn hair.
Yeah, Bun says I can't talk. Why don't you make out with him if you love it so much? Who was that directed to? Just everybody?
I don't know. It seems really hard. There's no lips, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, you've played Baldur's Gate 3. They make it happen.
That's true. You're right. You're absolutely right. I think based on how the horns are shaped and the fins on the back of the neck, I think it's a gold dragon.
Yeah.
But what's stopping me from being 100% sure? I'm like 90% sure. It doesn't have the koi whiskers.
Yeah, and I know that they're doing big like dragon redesigns too. There's been a little like some little
Yeah.
tidbits leaked out too. But yeah, I
I
think
saw
the
the-
fin.
Saw the blue dragon art and it looks pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. All right. Name. What would you name this monk? I think for me, this monk looks like a Zartanen with an X.
Oh. I also have an X on my name, but it's Sarjax.
Mm.
My name starts with an S as well, but I think he gives me vibes of like Seijiro.
Mm.
I like that.
GB, use that. You say, is that like two words together, like Maisjun? Mario says Steve. Totally valid. Just could be Steve.
Nothing wrong with that. Steve the monk dragonborn.
Fun says Perethos. I like that. How we lean into like the X's and the Z's and like the weird letters for Dragonborn. I don't know.
They need like at least 2 apostrophes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Their true dragon name. You can't pronounce it, but they go by Hank for short.
Yeah. Well, let's kick off this party. Let's get the party started here. And
In
we can
here.
start looking at some of these changes and look another juicy piece of art later on for us. Level 1, I think the honor should go to our resident monk player, BS. The expert amongst us for all monks.
Ooh. Okay. All right. Well, let's see. Level 1, martial arts. Changes to the monk come early with adjustments to martial arts. Biggest change is the monk's martial arts die starts 1 size larger at D6.
Oh,
Okay.
Nice.
And now it goes all the way up to 1D12.
that's
Beautiful.
awesome.
That's, hey, more is more.
Virtual Spectre 2024. More is more.
More is more.
Go ahead.
Next up, monk weapons have been simplified. Now any martial melee weapon with light property qualifies as a monk weapon. All simple melee weapons are also considered monk weapons. Finally,
Oh,
you
yeah.
can now use dexterity instead of strength when attempting to grapple or shove a creature. So
Very nice.
that's pretty sweet. That
That
is
is-
pretty sweet.
That is interesting. I'm looking up the weapons table. So it's all simple melee or monk weapons, right?
Mhm.
So that
correct.
makes sense. And then any light weapon?
Any martial melee weapon with the light property.
So that includes a scimitar and a short sword, basically.
Rapier as well? No.
Rapiers aren't light, they're finesse.
Ah, yes. You're right.
So that includes all simple melee weapons, which, hey, maybe if you want to, someone should make a club monk.
Okay.
Because that's a simple melee weapon. Interesting. Yeah. So the only ones that are martial are short sword and scimitar. So that's cool though.
It's cool. Can flavor a short sword as like a wakizashi or something.
Yeah, you could flavor it.
Mm-hmm.
I would say short sword is definitely a wakizashi.
How about
That's
that?
cool.
Or tanto. How about that? What's that? That
Yeah.
dagger?
Dagger, probably.
Mm.
I don't know. Maybe whatever you want, I guess.
What's up, Max?
I was like, what do we think about the decks for grapple and shove?
Makes sense on a class that heavily wants dex.
I think in my mind, I keep thinking like judo and stuff like that, or jujitsu type stuff,
yeah.
where it's not necessarily strength based.
You're
It's more
using your
technique.
opponent's momentum against themselves. Well, you don't need strength.
I see you know your judo well.
Ah, yes.
Divine art of judo.
Just saying to be more wisdom than dex. Interesting.
How you grapple with wisdom?
I think you just give the monk the choice, whether they want to be strength or dex.
I think that's what it's implying. It says you can now use dex instead of strength. But I think if you still want to go strength.
Okay. Yeah. Words are sentence structures. Yeah, those are things.
Yeah.
Wisdom would be interesting if they did
That's
that.
how I read it. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm wondering if they are like, we can't make, I don't know. But I get where I'm picking up what you're putting down on that one.
All right.
I'll do the next one. Monk's Focus. It's a new name for familiar level 2 feature where you'll find Flurry of Blows, Patient Defense, and Step of the Wind. The last two have some fun improvements, apparently. I guess we'll be the judges if they're fun or not. Our editorializing our changes, sir or madam. Patient Defense now allows you to take the disengage action as a bonus action without spending any focus points. But if you spend focus point, you can disengage and dodge as the same bonus action.
What?
Wild. That is why. Interesting. Also, now key points I think are focus points. They changed that to make it more sort of culture agnostic.
So
I believe.
Is this replacing patient defense and step of the wind? It's like combining them. If you want to spend the key point or focus point, you can combine those two, or you can just have a step of the wind for free.
Well, step of the wind, I'll get to that next because there's it has changes to it too. But I see what you mean. I thought step of the wind was just. Go ahead.
It used to be you could spend one key point to disengage. That's step of the wind, and then patient defense is one key point to take the dodge as a bonus. So now you can spend one key point and combine both of those features on a bonus action, or spend no key points and still get the old step of the wind.
To answer your question, DB, can strength-based monks use non-light martial weapons? It seems like regardless of whether you use strength or dex, for martial weapons, you're locked into light still. Light martial weapons. But the next thing is specifically Step of the Wind. So I think that they may have merged some things because it says likewise Step of the Wind allows you to dash as a bonus action with no focus point required. And if you spend a focus point, you can disengage and dash as part of the same bonus action.
Okay.
And using a focus point for Step of the Wind also doubles your jump distance for a turn. So it looks like Patient Defense is disengage, and then you get a dodge as a kicker if you want to spend points. Step of the Wind is a dash, or you could also disengage with a kicker with the focus point and jump a long way.
I like how you're
Cool.
using Magic the Gathering terms.
Is kicker a Magic the Gathering term?
It is.
There you go.
I like this. Part of the complaint of previous Monk was you had to spend your class resources on everything. You pick one option or multiple options. You had to spend key points for each of those. Now it's you get to do some things for free, and if you want to spice it up even more, then you can get to decide how you want to spend the resource to do that.
Yeah,
It's much more friendly to the player.
I agree. Yeah, your focus
Big time.
points now. So yeah, that's pretty cool. A lot of utility. All right. You want to go ahead? Or do you want me to do the next one?
It's it's really short. It's a little short
do
little
it.
guy.
Uncanny Metabolism, also level 2. I wish I had that. Just by the name alone. A new level 2 feature. It allows them to regain all expended focus points when they roll initiative once per long rest. Additionally, when you use this feature, you also regain hit points equal to your monk level plus a roll of your martial arts die. Whoa!
Ooh.
Interesting.
They want you to use them points.
Yeah, they do. And you kind of have like a chakra thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's really nice because
Yeah.
on other classes that sort of refill your resource on initiative is like higher level type of stuff, like much later.
Yeah.
And this is only at level 2. Plus you get to heal once per long rest, but still.
Yeah. Super cool to understand what it has to do with metabolism. I guess I kind of feel like they have so much shit. They're like, we got to name it something. What sounds cool? Because that's what I would do. It's tangentially related. Go ahead, VS.
It's kind of a weird name, but they're going for that like monk sort of like hyper focus, like feeling the key throughout the body sort of thing to re-energize. At least that's how I take it.
I mean, I guess I could see how hit points you could construe as part of like a function of the body, and speeding it up, you get them back faster. Maybe focus. Your focus is also related to biological chemical processes. I don't know.
It's
But
fantasy, man.
I would have just called it channeling focus. Boom.
Hire this man. First one's free, wizards.
That's right. If I see a reprint, you're welcome.
It's like basically willing some of your injuries away once per long rest.
That is a good point, Zeus. Worried that you're encouraging burst dumping the focus points for the first fight of the day. I guess that depends a lot on the DM of how many fights they have in a day. I will say that I'm guilty of that for our show format, because usually, unless y'all are in a dungeon, it's usually a fight. But I guess it depends on how the player's handbook and the DMG addresses like how many fights you're supposed to have in a day, because I know that's been a point of contention.
This is also level 2, so you don't. I mean, yeah, that might be a problem later, potentially, but for the early levels, you're not gonna have that many points that you're gonna be like just
or that many fights.
Yeah, I don't think it's.
Yeah,
higher levels maybe, but unless they changed how many points you get early on, I don't know.
Don't know.
Yeah, until we get the books in our hands, we won't know.
Next month.
All right, level 3, deflect attacks. Formerly deflect missiles, as you name might suggest. Deflect attack now has a much more usability. No longer limited to range weapon attacks. Deflect attacks now allow you to reduce the damage of any attack that includes bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing. The damage is reduced by a D10 plus your dex modifier and monk level. And if you're able to reduce the damage to 0, you can use a focus point to redirect the attack. Wow.
I love it. That's so flavorful.
That's freaking awesome.
Hey, man. Okay.
Depending on if the attack was a melee or range attack, you can target the creature within 5 feet or 60 feet retrospectively and force them to make a saving throw against the damage based on your martial art die and your dex modifier.
Sick.
That's pretty awesome.
What's interesting to me is it says you can reduce the damage of any attack that includes bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing. So in a lot of other like monsters, like ones that you fought last episode, it's like it's a piercing damage with poison. Does that mean that because it had piercing with it that included it, you can deflect the whole attack? Because that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like it. I believe, yeah, when I didn't get to watch the whole video because this was like probably one of their longest videos. It was like 40 minutes. I only got to like half of it. But yeah, if it includes magic, as long as it has bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing, you can deflect magic basically, as long as those properties are in it. I think what really upsets me, no, I don't, I'm not gonna bring it up. Never mind. Just talking about Ranger again. We're moving on. We're moving on from Ranger.
Yeah, we're moving on, everybody. We're moving on. We all know what we're gonna do. We're just gonna homebrew it, and Hunter's Mark isn't concentration anymore. They can't hurt us anymore. Anyway,
yeah,
I don't know.
Already first 3 levels of monks packing really some powerful shit.
Wow. What do you think so far, VS? Because I think you've probably spent more time as playing a monk than we have. Like that seems like a big boost.
Yeah, in the first 2 levels, or is that starting 3rd level? Yeah, first 3 levels, you're already the abilities that you have are far more useful. They're far more resource friendly, and overall, it's just better than what 5e had at the same point. I mean, it's really it's just better. That's all. It's just better right now.
Gifted Gabby, you aren't lying. They got a big upgrade, and I feel like they're really leaning into like 2 things, like mobility and like utility and survivability. I guess it's 3 things. With the deflections, being able to disengage, dodge, with their new Monk's Focus, being able to heal with their uncanny metabolism. Like that seems pretty cool.
They finally hit on some stuff that really kind of matches with, I think, what a lot of people envision a monk as.
Yeah. Leaning into the fantasy.
Good. Yeah, which is good.
It's the opposite of what they do with Rangers. I'm sorry, I had to say it.
Another nice piece of art. I'm guessing that's a 4 elements monk.
Oh yeah.
I haven't looked at it, so I'm very curious because I thought the way of the elements, the 4 elements monk, was like such a super cool idea because you're harnessing like your chi, your ki, the elements. You're pulling from the earth, right? And it was just the worst subclass ever. So I'm really curious. Because they completely revised it, so I'm interested in how they made changes to make it awesome.
What would you name this orc monk? This also looks to me like what if I was gonna play like an orc shaman in World of Warcraft.
Dude, those earrings, they're monk weapons in themselves. Take them off. Freaking throw those bad boys.
I'm thinking of Kreia for a name. Kreia.
First thing comes into my mind, Gotara.
Itak.
I like that one. Booty from DB. I thought it was like Bud. Hey, Bud. Saw there's an eye at the end. Hey there, Bud.
Oh, hey there, Bud.
Yeah.
What you doing there, E?
That is a really sick piece of art, though. Zaya, that's a good one too. Amaro.
Ooh, nice.
On
Amaro.
YouTube.
That's right, live on YouTube, same time, baby.
That's right. Yeah, I forgot to do all that. Yeah, if you didn't know, YouTube, we're right there.
Rage Mage.
We're right there. Yo, Rage Mage.
And Alan, look
Crayon.
at all these people showing up.
Did you say
Uh,
crayon?
the art is by Katharina Layden.
And the first one was Joshua Raphael.
Hmm.
Sick.
Very
All
good.
right.
Very good.
Subclasses. I think it's back to you,
Master of
VS.
Monks.
All right. So we have Warrior of Mercy, which appeared in Tasha's. Subclass has seen the fewest changes of all monk subclasses. Familiar features such as Hand of Harm and Implements of Mercy return, albeit with some minor tweaks. Hand of Healing, for example, is now classed as a magic action. A new action classification to improve clarity of the rules. The most significant change is that Flurry of Healing and Harm can now be used a number of times per long rest equal to your Wisdom modifier.
I've noticed as you read that, they changed him from way of to now
Yep.
warrior of. That's kind of cool.
Oh, you're right. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
This kind of goes along with what they've been doing is they'll usually pull a subclass from Tasha's and just kind of leave it alone because for the most part, I think Tasha's did a really good job updating
Like
some of them.
things, yeah.
So they picked a good one and then said, all right, here we go.
I didn't play this subclass, obviously, but from what I've heard of monk subclasses, it was like the better one, I guess, in terms of its features. Like one of the better ones.
Yeah, I think it has like a lot of things with like healing, like you can touch someone and heal someone using then it was key. And same thing for like unarmed strike, you could do like extra damage and stuff like that. It had a
You
lot
could
of
poison people with Hand of Harm or something.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Punch Doctor is the class.
what's that?
Punch Doctor.
Punch doctor. Okay. Next.
All right. Warrior of Shadow. I'm actually glad this is in here. Warrior of Shadow really shines in 2024, pun intended.
Not a pun?
That's not a pun.
It's not
That's not
really
a pun.
It'd
no,
be the
it's not.
opposite. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shadow Arts has been reworked, allowing you to cast Darkness and Minor Illusion, and you can move the field of darkness you create. The feature also gives you Dark Vision or upgrades yours if you have it. As you level up, your level 11 improved Shadow Step allows you to spend a focus point to ignore the dim light or darkness restriction of Shadow Step and make an unarmed strike immediately after you teleport as a part of the same bonus action. Sweet.
Very cool.
Finally, Cloak of Shadows is a new level 17 feature that allows you to wreath yourself in shadows. This effect lasts for 1 minute or until you're incapacitated or end your turn in bright light. While it's active, you have the invisible condition, which persists even if you attack or cast a spell.
Whoa.
You can move through occupied spaces as if they were difficult terrain, and you can use Flurry of Blows without needing to spend any focus points.
Wow.
Sick.
It's a pretty solid level 17 feature.
Yeah. Like one of the first that are like kind of fitting for level 17.
Yeah. That looks really
Dang.
cool. Full on like shinobi ninja vibes. That's what I would do.
That's why I was glad to see it, because one of the coolest flavors of subclasses is like it's literally just ninja.
Yeah.
Okay. Warrior of the Elements.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Yes. Give it to me.
All right, Warrior of the Elements has had the most number of changes and has received a lot of new and exciting changes. Elemental Attunement now gives you 10-foot reach of your unarmed strikes and deals your choice of acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder damage.
Wait, the 5 elements now. Anyway, go ahead.
Ooh.
That's probably why they changed it to elements.
Yeah.
You can also push or pull a target 10 feet on a failed save. On top of that, you learn the new Elementalism Cantrip. As you level up, you'll get this you get the ability to create AoE elemental bursts, fun ways to navigate the battlefield, and damage resistance to aid survivability. So they didn't really give us like too much detail of all the changes, but it sounds like there's some interesting stuff.
Yeah, like I wish there were some more like concrete examples, but what I'm wondering is
Just kinda
there's a link in there. This link, they did a whole article
Oh,
on
there
where
is
the
a link.
elements.
Oh,
So yeah, we'll have to go look at that. They did a whole article on it.
oh my.
But it does look like that there are so many changes that they're just like, go read the other thing we wrote.
I wish they did that with the other classes that didn't really have full detail, but I guess this is just a huge overhaul.
Yeah,
It needed the attention.
yeah, I'd have to look through that and see kind of what we think about it. That's a little out of the scope for what we're doing today, but it looks promising
Mhm.
anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
A rework.
all right. And finally, the classic Warrior of the Open Hand. Open hand technique remains largely unchanged, with one exception, or with the exception of one of its options only blocking opportunity attacks rather than all reactions. Wholeness of Body has been moved to a bonus action and now heals a number of hit points equal to a roll of your martial arts die plus your wisdom modifier, rather than 3 times your monk level. However, you can now use it a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier per long rest rather than just once.
Oh.
The new Fleet Step feature allows you to step of the wind as a part of any bonus action that wasn't already used to perform Step of the
Oh.
Wind. And Quivering Palm has been rebalanced. It now costs 4 focus points and does 10d12 force damage on a failed save rather than reducing the target to 0 hit points
Oh.
and half as much on a successful. So, yeah.
Nerf that a little bit.
Yeah.
10d12 is still substantial, but
That is a lot. That's quite a bit. And it's force damage.
Was Quivering Palm the one where you could like hit somebody and then at a set amount of time it like takes effect and they just die?
Let me see.
It like didn't happen right away or
I
something.
thought it just KO'd him, no?
Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
Is it Way of the Open Hand? Quivering Palm, 17th level. It was 3 key points. It lasts for a number of days equal to your monk level. And the vibrations are harmless until you use your action to end them. To do so, you and the target must be on the same plane of existence. When you use this action, the creature must make a con save. If it fails, it reduces to 0 hit points. If it succeeds, it does 10d10 necrotic. I think that the changes now make more sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because most of the time you just want the person dead right away. Rather than like, I'm gonna hit you and then wait 2 days to kill you.
No, you need them to enjoy life, and they're eating breakfast with their friends, and then they're about to make a proclamation of a big change in their life, and then you're like, boom, done.
Well, it doesn't last that long. It's like 20 years go by.
And then you pop out of the shadows and I gotcha. That's my headcanon anyways.
All right. There's our 4 subclasses.
Nice.
Very cool. Very cool.
Some good ones.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I want to dig more into the elements, and I want to look more in the way Warrior Shadow seems fun to me. Level 5, a big
Drunken
one.
Master.
That's true. No Drunken Master.
I gotta slay more books. Yes, can't put them all in one.
Warrior of the Tankard. Maybe.
Let's see. Yeah, Stunning Strike, level 5, a staple. It's been rebalanced apparently. It now requires the use of a monk weapon or unarmed strike. That seems like it was an oversight last time. You have successfully applied. The stun condition now ends at the start of your next turn rather than the end, and it can only be used once per turn. However, if the target succeeds on their saving throw, their speed is halved until the start of your next turn. And the next melee attack or the next attack made against them is done with advantage. Interesting. So it's either they're stunned or they're half speed and you get advantage.
That's I like it. Even on a fail, there's something happens. Or before, if they succeeded, then nothing happened.
So I think they changed this. It's more or less the same as I think their playtest, except they had a thing in the playtest. Something about it also did a certain amount of force damage, but it didn't make sense because like they still take damage if they save, but not, it was like really it was worded really weird to where it didn't quite make sense all the way. So it seems like they got rid of the damage aspect, the force damage aspect of that.
What's interesting is, so being stunned, you're incapacitated, right? So you can't take actions or reactions, can't move, and barely, you can speak falteringly is what it used to say. You automatically fail strength and dex saves, and your attack rolls against them have advantage. So that's stunned. But even if they succeed, your attack rolls still have advantage, and their speed is halved. That's not bad. But I do like that they limit it to once per turn. So now you just can't spam stunning strike.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me too much.
I was gonna say, I was like, I figured people would be happy because I remember seeing the wind kind of taken out of your sails every time you used stunning strike in the first campaign. Whenever they'd save against it, you're like, well, there goes my key points for nothing.
Yeah.
All right.
Level 5 empowered strike. I'll do this one. It's another short one. Empowered strike level 5. This is the new version of key empowered strike. You can change the damage type of your unarmed strikes to force damage. Sick.
Yeah, badass. Easy peasy.
Alrighty.
Level 10. Heightened focus. Heightened focus is the new level 10 feature that improves several of your core monk features. First, flurry of blows gain an additional attack, bringing the total to 3 per bonus action. Cool. 3 attacks instead of 2. That's pretty cool. Up next, patient defense now grants you temporary hit points based on 2 rolls of your martial art die. Finally, when you use Step of the Wind, you can move one willing creature that's large or smaller along with you until the end of the turn, and they do not provoke attack of opportunity attacks as you do. Oh shit, that's pretty cool.
Dang.
I like that.
It just buffs all your monk shit to the next level.
Yeah. You get you and a friend out of a bad situation.
Yeah, I particularly like that you could take your friend with you, and size category higher or lower. That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
I'll continue on with the level 10 train. You get self restoration. Another new level 10 feature, self restoration, lets you avoid the levels of exhaustion you would normally accumulate when going without food or water. And at the end of your turn, ends the charm, frightened, or poison condition on yourself.
Interesting.
Dang.
I like the out of combat utility, and I'm wondering if they're
Mhm.
making more of an emphasis on some of that stuff with like going without food or water or that kind of stuff. We'll have to wait till the PHP and DMG are out, but
Yeah, the last part where you can end a condition, especially with those 3, are they taking away their mind protection ability?
So they used to have stillness of mind at level 7,
Mhm.
and you could use your action. It took an action to end one effect on yourself, causing you to be charmed or frightened.
Oh, so they added poisoned.
Yeah. They
And
bumped
you
it
do
up
this.
to level 10 and made it
Mm.
actually better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just happens at the end of your turn.
Cool.
Sick.
You don't have to use an action, which is nice.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
All right. Level 13. Deflect energy.
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 An upgrade to deflect attacks. Deflect energy allows you to reduce the damage of attacks of any damage type.
Damn.
Whoa. I like that.
Okay. Even including
do
force
monks have
damage.
one of the best reactions in the game now?
I think so.
For survivability, I mean, seems good.
It's pretty solid.
You know, do the next one too.
Sure. Level 15. Perfect focus. If when you roll initiative, you're below 4 focus points and don't use uncanny metabolism, you immediately regain enough focus points to bring you back up to 4. Perfect for when you're on your 5th or 6th encounter of the day. All right.
I think that's pretty par for the course for like this level of like classes getting things back just for free.
Mm-hmm.
That's 5th or 6th encounter of the day. That seems a lot. That
I think
seems
that's
really
what they.
high.
I think that's what they intended originally in 5th edition. Just nobody did it.
But yeah, they're playing a very different game than us.
Why each combat usually takes like about an hour. So you're talking about 5-6 hours just combat alone.
Yeah. Depending on the encounter type
Yeah.
and
but
and how many things they fight, I guess. But
that's true. I feel like this is super sick for skill challenges as well. Just spend all your freaking points and do cool stuff.
yeah, they didn't even think about that because they don't use it because they did away with it. Sad. Skill challenges.
Yep.
4th edition creeping in again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's my turn now.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
it is.
I forgot the order we were going in already. Level 18, superior defense. At the start of your turn, you can expend 3 focus points to gain resistance to all damage types except force for 1 minute, or until you're incapacitated. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, more survivability stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not reading
Man,
all the other flavor text because it doesn't really add anything.
yeah. Man, it makes I feel like monks are like they're a super solid candidate for a frontline tanker. Just
Yeah.
And
Quite
this is
hearty.
just base features too. Like it's not factoring any subclass features on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
let's see. All right, level 19, you get an epic boon. They recommended the boon of irresistible offense. Your strength and dex ability are increased by 1, up to a maximum of 30, and then bludgeoning, piercing,
Bludgeoning?
slashing damage.
Glad to be here.
Yes. Thank you for having me. You deal so those 3 types of damage that you deal always ignore resistance. And additionally, when you roll 20 on an attack roll, you deal an additional damage equal to your ability score you increased with this feat.
Interesting. I'd like to see a full list of all the epic boons. These are just
Yeah.
suggestions. Like this more along the lines of like what you want your character to have. But nice little tidbit. Oh, look at that level 20 feature.
That's all you, VS.
body and mind. As the level 20 feature of the monk, body and mind increases your dexterity and wisdom scores by 4 each. Up to
Whoa.
25.
Wee.
4 each.
Wow. I feel like This was an overcorrection.
It is level 20.
Yeah, it's level
It
20.
is- But all the other classes who got a level well, some classes don't have level 20 features, and then some that do aren't as crazy as this.
Yeah.
Can you scroll down, Max?
I did. I already scrolled. It's just behind.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry.
It's just behind. It's there at the bottom.
It's one of those things where it's like, that's really strong. But I guess if you're playing the sort of game that where players get to level 20, at that point, it's like kind of whatever
I guess,
happens,
yeah.
happens.
I guess +2 to those stats at level 20 is not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Man, Twitch was way behind. It just now scrolled.
Yeah, I think the Twitch servers are taking a big old poop, which is
Yeah,
why I posted the YouTube link.
Yeah. It's my the Twitch dashboard says poor network connection, and I'm like, all my stuff's green. Anyway.
But
Yeah, that's cool.
That's Monk. That's pretty. That's a home run for me on Monk.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Top
Incredible.
marks.
Yeah,
I
Oops,
know
all Monk. Every campaign moving forward.
oops, all monks.
from everything I'd seen online of like people's opinions of previous Monk, where they thought it was weak and where they would like to see it go, I think they hit a nice sweet spot of adding plenty of flavor and then also just making the class do cool stuff and it's going to be fun to play this.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're going to have a lot of fun playing this, which I think is hard to say unless you just really enjoyed the old Monk. For most people, they didn't. So
Yeah.
I think people like the idea of being a monk, but mechanically they just wasn't all there. But there's still some enjoyable things about monks for 2014.
Oh yeah, I mean I had fun playing it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is crazy. This is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they just completely revitalized the whole class. Like I feel like they needed it too.
I know we don't want to like come back to it, but it really makes you scratch your head when you look at this and then look at Ranger. Like,
yeah,
what team did this, and then what team
Well,
was in
it
charge
just
of the Ranger?
it hurts because in the video with Jeremy Crawford, he's like, at the beginning of the video, he's like, just like we gave a lot of love and attention to Rangers. We did the same thing for monks, and I'm like, did you?
these two things are not the same.
One is a home run. The other one is 3 steps back.
Yeah, I feel like with Monk, they upgraded, like they've balanced it. They've made it a more compelling class while still keeping the fantasy element of what you'd want a monk to be. And I will say, and I haven't play tested the Ranger. Maybe mechanically, the Ranger is a little more optimized or balanced. I don't know yet because we don't know what spells are concentration or not anymore. But the flavor was just like sucked out of it like a vacuum. So I don't know, man. But I will say this monk stuff looking good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really, really, man. I want to play monk now. That's powerful.
I'm really looking forward to seeing what the rest of the marshals get in terms of changes, because like Monk as a marshal was not competing with like barbarian or fighter,
Yeah.
or even Ranger to a degree.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see where it stacks up with their changes that are in the works.
All right, we're gonna run it back. We're gonna redo campaign 1 with the new 24 classes. No, I'm just kidding.
Sure. Run back the whole tape. All right. Anyway, let us know what you think about the monk. You know, if you didn't catch the whole episode, you can go check it out on our podcast. We'll have that available, or check out the VOD. But come hang out on our Discord. Let us know what you think. What class are you looking forward to us talking about based on what your classes you want us to hear about the changes? Let us know. But we will see you all next time, and you want to be here on Friday for episode 48 of campaign 2.
That's
some
right.
big stuff happened in this episode, so definitely don't want to miss that. So make sure you're here for it. And with that, we'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody.
Yeah.
Hi.